So today I just wanted to show you guys what I'm doing to solve the problem of the strainers for the electric fence. So what we've had up until now are wooden posts, which are fine, but the problem is they are not going to last as we move every week. It's just going to get worse and worse, and they'll start to split, which they've already started doing. So what I've sort of racked my brains, and I was really determined not to buy anything. That's kind of my ethos for this project, is I want to do as much as possible without buying purpose-made kit to sort of get us started. Maybe that's a bad idea, but that's what I'm trying to do. So we had an old set of gates that we just had sat rusting away. Well, they were going to rust away. They were just sat next to our log store. So I got the angle grinder out for this first time ever, taught myself how to use it, which was interesting, a lot of fun. And I've basically made this. So you can see it's like really thick metal, steel, I assume. And yeah, so basically the only thing I bought was these insulators. They are different insulators from what I've used before. They've got like a bolt instead of a wooden screw to screw into wood normally. These have a bolt. And yeah, they're basically the same thing. The problem I found was where the thread on the bolt, I was hoping was going to be longer than the diameter or the width of the bar. It wasn't, so I ended up having to get the angle grinder back out. It's not a pretty job, I understand that, but it's done the trick. And basically cut in, a hammer may have been involved, and then basically, yeah, get all the way to the back so I could get the bolt on the back so that they're nice and tight. I've hammered it in the ground. I hammered it pretty far into the ground. I've kind of guessed on where the wire's going to go. Hopefully I've got a good eye for it now. I've done it a few times, getting the heights right. And then yeah, just hit the top with the sledgehammer. You can sort of see where it went in. It's definitely going to leave its mark a few times, but hopefully they should last longer than the wooden ones. I've got like 3 more gates laying around, so if I need more posts, then I can always spend the time. At the moment I've only got 4. I actually need 1 more, so I'm going to capture some footage of me making the last one. So basically the process is cut down into the post lengths, which I've already done, and then it's just a process of putting the insulators in the right place. So I just use a standard like metal drill bit. I wrecked, I think, 3 drill bits. It's like I said, it's really thick bits of metal. I'm sure I'm not using the right kit. I've got this ancient drill, but again, it does the trick, does the job. I started off using my impact driver, but that was not a good idea. It wrecked the first drill bit. And then other than that, I just have a little ratchet to tighten the bolt on the back because I can't reach it with my fingers. And it's pretty much as simple as that. So hopefully they'll do the trick better than a wooden one. Okay, so job number 1 is just mark up against the master. I've marked up against this one on all of them. Mark up where you want your insulators to sit. So they are roughly the same height, more than acceptable. Then it's just a case of just marking roughly where you want your fronts to be. Where the insulators are going to be, but also on the back it was important to note where the giant holes are going to be. So again, only roughly just give myself an idea where they're gonna go. One extra thing that I'm having to deal with is our angle grinder seems to draw so much power that all the lights turn off when I turn it on. So obviously health and safety would probably have a fit. Like as soon as I turn on this this dangerous piece of machinery, it goes dark, and I'm doing it in the dark. So yeah, definitely a daytime job. Okay, I've got the X's marked where I'm going to drill. So I'll get the drill set up and I'll just lean it up and drill the holes. So basically all I'm using is a 4mm drill bit. Because the metal's so thick, I'm having to use a 4mm, and then I think this is a 6mm. So hopefully both of those together gets us the job done. So now for the back, the angle grinder didn't seem to like just trying to go straight into the flat metal. Just doesn't like really cutting it. So what I do is I just drill. I think I ended up drilling 8 holes that just sort of set out what I'm actually going to end up cutting out with the angle grinder to give it something I think a bit more purchase. Okay, so I have now got, as you can see here, a load of little holes making a rough square. Some more holes making a rough square. So basically they're just guiding the angle grinder. I just found it much easier by doing this. I guess it's worth saying I'm only using the tools I have to hand. There's probably a much better way of doing this. My angle grinding disc is probably too big. There's loads of reasons why I'm not doing this efficiently, but I'm doing it without having to buy any extra stuff. So I'm using what I'm using. Obviously, if you're doing it, use whatever you want to use to get the job done. So we are ready to go. I've got everything set up. Angle grinder's now plugged in and ready to go. Yeah, so I've just got to grind 2 holes. That's pretty much it, and then we'll hammer the rest out. It's not going to look pretty, but hopefully it'll do the trick. Okay, so we have made the cut. So I've now basically, I'm left with this, not all the way through. I'll just see if I can get you it's nice and warm. So you can see I've basically just made started a cut onto the metal, which is more than enough, I'm finding, to then finish it off with a hammer and I think I'm using like a masonry chisel. So we've got our holes. Didn't take too many hits. So they're both pretty kind of, as I would expect, pretty clean. You can see the hole on the other side where the insulator is going to come in. Now just to fit the insulators. So for anyone that isn't too au fait with the insulators, basically this is what I would always use for wood ones. And this is what I am using for this project. So they're very different. You'd never be able to use this on wood. These are only for steel posts. Okay, so I've basically used the socket to finger tighten the nut onto the back, and then it's just a simple case of making sure it's going the right way. Make sure the top of the eyelet's facing up, and then just give it, doesn't have to be too tight, just enough so now it's not going to go anywhere. Right, we're there. So I now have 5 posts, which is how many I need per paddock. If this works, then I'm gonna have to do it probably 5 more times, just so that I now have enough to do 2 paddocks at a time, which will mean I won't have to frantically run around and take one paddock down and set the same paddock up again. So yeah, that's us for today.